How to become rich? Stocks can make you rich. Real estate can make you rich. Dropshipping can make you rich. Affiliate marketing can make you rich. They all work. Just pick one and take massive action. Elon Musk once said, instead of baby showers, let's host business showers. When a friend starts a business, we can all come together, celebrate them, and bring resources for their business start. Tom Hardy once said, weak people always have to be in relationships so they can feel important and loved. Once you start enjoying your own company, being single becomes a privilege. Cillian Murphy once said, if you love too hard, just stay single, because people in this generation don't appreciate that shit anymore. Sorry to disappoint everyone, that Cillian Murphy 100% has never spoke like that in his life. So today we're going to be talking about hustle culture, mainly focusing on like hustle culture, grifters and meme pages, and how it just embodies like hyper capitalism. Like, you as the individual can become extremely wealthy only if you change your mindset to fit in with people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Gary Vee, who we're going to talk about in the video. Because at the end of the day, if you're stuck working a 9-to-5 minimum wage job, well, that's a you problem. That is all about your personal failings as an individual, because in this really fair capitalist system where we all have an equal opportunity to succeed, if you aren't succeeding, you aren't using your time right. You're not getting up at 4:30 a.m. and getting in a run or meditating or buying and selling Bitcoin and Ethereum. But these pages are just like totally insane and hilarious. We're going to get into the meme pages because so often they just feature like pictures of random celebrities. And then, like I've already shown you, will attribute quotes to celebrities who never ever said them and never would say them. But why do they do that? Because Tom Hardy's like seen like a hard man, very successful. Cillian Murphy is seen as like a successful businessman now because of his role in Peaky Blinders. They're meant to be like the height of masculinity, so apparently they are very, very wise talking about that you should stay single. If you've ever watched an interview of Cillian Murphy, you know that it was just so ridiculous to think he would ever say this. And at the end, if you guys stick around, I also want to give my own experience of like hustle culture, because I wasn't always a full-time YouTuber. I used to actually do YouTube and a full-time job, 40 hours a week up central London at the same time. And I want to use that experience to show you how toxic this mindset is that you have to utilize every hour in every day and forsake your mental and physical well-being in the pursuit of capital. But before we go any further, a lot of you say you don't like my videos if I don't tell you to. Please like the video, maybe comment, and maybe subscribe if you are new. If you want to support my work continuing for the future, please consider becoming a patron. I want to build up as many $1 to $3 patrons as possible to make the most sustainable Patreon I can. The benefits at the moment are getting my Nintendo Switch friend code and getting access to the private patrons Discord server. If you want to follow me on social media at the Kavernacle on Twitter and Instagram. Also, my personal Reddit and my subreddit is in the description, and the public Discord is also there. If you want to keep up to date on my live streams, I live stream on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and those are archived on my second channel, the Kavernacle Extra. So hustle culture has been in the news a lot lately, especially in the UK, because former Love Island contestant and just general influencer Molly May went on a podcast where she basically didn't acknowledge like her own privilege or anything like that, and basically saying everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day. If you can't make the most of yourself with these 24 hours, that's a you problem. You're just not working hard enough. You're just not grinding. You're not on the Sigma Grindset enough. And you haven't married into a famous boxing family either. They're just going to play you the clip quick.
We do. And I just think like you're given one life and it's down to you what you do with it. Like, you can literally go in any direction. And when I've spoken about that before in the past, I have been slammed a little bit with people saying, you know, like, it's easy for you to say that, you know, you've grown up and you've not grown up in poverty. You've not grown up, you know, with major money struggles. So for you to sit there and say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, it's not correct. And I'm like, but technically what I'm saying is correct. We do. So I understand that obviously we all have different backgrounds and we're all raised in different ways and we do have different financial situations. But I think if you want something enough, you can achieve it. And it just depends to what lengths you want to go to get where you want to be in the future. And I'll go to any lengths. Like, I've worked my absolute arse off to get where I am now.
Now, to a lot of you watching this, especially my subscribers, we can see so many flaws in that argument, because we don't all have like the same 24 hours, because you might have numerous issues based on your environment or your family or where you grow up. That does not mean you have the privilege of using many hours in the day to pursue a side hustle, to go on Love Island, to promote rubbish clothes or promote everything these influencers promote, like some sort of like protein shake or something like that. We don't have that time. You might have, you know, families with disabilities you have to care for. You might have to work to help your family just afford the bare minimum. It's all dependent on your environment. Yes, lots of privileged people, and I consider myself one of those privileged people because I had the time to pursue YouTube on top of a full-time job, because I had the privilege to live at home. So like my basic needs were always taken care of. But to a lot of people that just isn't the case, and that's even just in like a Western societal context. If you expand that around the globe, people are working like 16-hour days for basically slave wages in places like Ethiopia, making Tommy Hilfiger clothes, places like Pakistan and Bangladesh, all these sweatshops, often children working. Do you think these children and very poor laborers have the same 24 hours as a privileged white Western woman who became very famous when she was like 19 years old? But sadly, this embodies the mindset of a lot of people, and it's basically just an embodiment of our individualist capitalist mindset in particularly Western countries, where we're sold the myth that where we live is a meritocracy and you can get rich if you try hard enough. You can even become president one day if you try hard enough, but that simply isn't the case. Now, someone who embodies this even more than Molly May is Gary Vee. Now, I didn't know who Gary Vee was until that Mr. Beast clip where he talks about Gary Vee ringing up all these massive rich influencers to buy crypto punks to massively inflate the value.
Out of nowhere, just calls me and he's like, yo, I got like 30 people to call, hop in. I'm like, I don't care. He's like, it'll be the best decision of your life. Just get in. I was like, okay. Yeah. So there's like all these like very successful people in this call. And Gary's just like, here's what you're going to do, and you're going to do it right now. You're all going to buy a bunch of crypto punks.
But then I watched a really good video by a YouTuber called Mooncat. He made a massive video on Gary Vee in particular. Mooncat actually makes a lot of videos on loads of these scams. I've been binging these videos a lot recently. That's why I've been inspired to make this video anyway, so check out their content. But Gary Vee is a very successful businessman who started off promoting like wine on YouTube. Now, his advice for people basically fits into this whole hustle culture mentality, because he's a complete maniac when it comes to like pursuing money and his work ethic. So he feels like everyone should be like this. So I want to start off with a video uploaded on his own channel. How much does Gary Vee rest and sleep?
Sleep's important, rest is important, recharging is important. It's not about 365 days of complete insanity. It's about 265 days of complete insanity, and in 100 days of really resting and giving you the energy to have that insanity. I think hustle is about when you're in it versus every day doing it, right? So for me, it's this Wednesday, this Wednesday is all in, right? Like I'm gonna go all in the whole way, every minute. A lot of the people that are around my life now, even you guys probably, get very caught off guard of how I have 0 minutes in play for 15 hours in a day. Like there is no, Zach needs like 2 minutes to like, hey, look at this new design for Wine Library, and DeMayo, my assistant's like, yeah, next Thursday. And he's like, 2 minutes, right? I mean, like, so I go all in on the days I'm in, but boy, do I rest when I rest, and boy, do I check out when I check out. As a matter of fact, I don't even like travel. I don't want to see the pyramids or the Eiffel Tower. I don't care about the coral reefs. When I vacation, I need to sleep on a beach, and don't talk to me.
So I mean, to be fair, at least he does promote that you should be sleeping a lot, but on another video where he talked about a day in his life, he was actually sleeping less than 5 hours. As someone who did that regularly about a year ago, it's very, very bad for your health to sleep less than 5 hours. But also, is that even a great way to live? You literally have no minutes free every single day of your life. And when you're actually resting, you're just sleeping on a beach. You don't even want to do like cool things that money. You don't want to go see the pyramids or the Eiffel Tower. You just want to sleep on a beach and recharge, because like he says, he's just a maniac most of the time, filling his whole day with just business all the time. So you're getting a sense of this guy's attitude towards like, capitalist business and everything like that. So here's another video he uploaded in 2015 called Monday Morning Motivation Videos. So for most of you, I assume, you get a lot of anxiety on Sunday night. I still get this now, even though I'm self-employed. I used to have it awfully when I worked full time, because all you're thinking about from about 5 p.m. on Sunday is the next work day. And of course that goes into Monday, and Monday's normally the worst day of the week. You just can't be bothered to talk to anyone at your office. You can't be bothered to work. You hate your life. You wish you had another day off. Sometimes you just want to throw yourself in a ditch. But Gary Vee has a very positive view on this thing, And if you're actually feeling bad on a Monday, it's all your fault. Have a better mindset about it.
So it's early Monday morning, and I've been wanting to make a Monday morning video for a long time, and finally D-Rock, we're doing it. So real quick, this is just a rant, very simple, and something that I want you to pass on or watch every Monday morning, because the level of complaining is unacceptable. Look, what if I told you this was the last Monday morning of your life? What if I told you you die this week? Would you complain about your crap job or that test you don't want to take? I doubt it. You would go much higher level thinking. Well, that's really what it takes. It takes understanding that if you're not pumped right now, if you're begrudging what you're about to do, if you're not looking forward to it, look, I respect practicality. You gotta go through school because your parents want to. You gotta pay your rent. You got student loans, I get it. But please recognize the world we're living in. We're living in a world where there's so much more opportunity. This internet thing created way more opportunity for all of us, way more. I mean, look, you might not even be alive. Like, your mom and dad could have had like 3 minutes later and you wouldn't even exist and you're complaining. You could have ended up being a bus, a tree. I just don't get the mentality of being head down sad on a Monday morning. I'm gonna make you Saturday Monday morning. That's what I wanna do every morning, and that's what I want from you. Please, take a step back and think about how awesome it actually is. And then recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way.
So don't be sad on a Monday morning. Be grateful you're a wage slave under capitalism. And actually, Monday morning's a good opportunity for everyone. You're in the age of the internet. You can make as much money as possible. Just like Gary Vee, you could be a millionaire. No time to be sad on a Monday morning. No time to hate your life. These people are pretty like divorced from reality. This guy like totally just buys into his own garbage about like this hustle mindset, but loads of people will say this. In the hustle mindset, there is no time for feeling sad. It's just a mentality thing. That's why this stuff is such garbage, because while they talk about sometimes mental health and talk about, you know, the need to recharge and go on holiday, at the same time they're talking about using every minute of every day and constantly feeling happy and looking for the next grind. Of course, it's totally okay to feel rubbish on a Monday morning, and Gary Vee saying there was like a high chance you wouldn't even be alive in the first place isn't very comforting when I'm going to a job I absolutely hate with a boss I absolutely hate. So one more video where Gary Vee gives an anecdote about like how you should treat customers based on his own experience. Seems like a lovely guy talking about how he went out of his way to drive through the snow to give an old lady some wine and then calls her like old Yoda.
There are way too many running businesses today with this, and not enough people running businesses with this. In 2001, it snowed in New Jersey on December 23rd, which was one of the busiest days of the year. We're doing about $40,000 an hour in the store. A woman called us, we just started shipping, and her case of Behringer White Zinfandel wasn't delivered. I grabbed the case, throw it in my car, and drive to Bergen County to deliver it. The entire case cost $45. I can't tell you what the ROI of driving through the snow to deliver a case of $45 pink to a woman that looked like Yoda was. But I can tell you this, over the next 2 to 3 years, that story became the foundation of how we treated every single customer.
So everyone, you should learn to do business with this. At the same time, talk about one of your customers in a really, really horrible way. Talk about how the rate of return on that specific delivery was really bad, but apparently that you're doing it all with your heart. You're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. Also, not to mention, please don't drive through a snowstorm to make a delivery to someone, because you could cause like a massive accident. And if it really is so insignificant in terms of your $45 profit, then maybe just consider doing it another day when there isn't a massive snowstorm. So one more video I want to share some quick clips of is a pretty infamous one now. It's on Forbes. It's called I Wake Up Every Day at 4:30 a.m. by Karim Obalnaga, who's like one of these entrepreneurs, and he says he's like doing education for kids, but the way he talks about his routine is just like totally insane. I do not believe he does this. He also says he listens to audiobooks on 3 times speed. Have you ever listened to anything on 3 times speed and you can really take it in? And he also says he's writing 3 books to be published that year and using only 1 hour a day to write some of these books. This video epitomizes everything wrong with hustle culture and how unrealistic it is for basically every single person, and also raises questions about how, you know, truthful a lot of these people are being.
I wake up every day at 4:30. I work out, shower, meditate, and get dressed. Sometimes my meditation is just a quick minute to remind me to keep working hard and always be grateful. I don't usually wear a suit to work, but this is the time of year when most charities have their annual benefit dinners. I plug in my headphones and start listening to my audiobooks. I listen at 3 times the normal speed and get through a little more than a book per week. I'm working on self-publishing 3 books in the spring. I had given myself an hour to write. Now I'm left with just 15 minutes. Every minute counts. Try to start all of my internal group meetings with 3 deep breaths. It helps me get centered and bring my attention to the meeting. I'm out by 9 and in bed by 10:30, waking up early to do it all again tomorrow, but I don't mind.
It does not feel like that is a realistic depiction of this guy's day. Maybe he does this sometimes, but I don't think he does this most of the time. But again, shows how ridiculous hustle culture is. Essentially, it's a big scam to try and make you like capitalism more and blame capitalism's failings on yourself and buy into this fake meritocracy we all live in, where if you act like Kareem there, you can actually be a millionaire. So now I want to have a bit of fun with you guys because I went down the rabbit hole of hustle culture influencers on Instagram. Now, I showed you a couple of slides at the start and how ridiculous all this stuff is. But a lot of these posts actually tell you like how to make money, how to become a millionaire, how to live your life, how to really benefit from capitalism. And I also want to talk about like these hustle culture mentors that everyone seems to talk about all the time. And then we'll finish off the video by going into my own personal experience of the hustle. So here's one of the accounts I saw: Business Smash, Maniac Digital Marketing, helping brands thrive on IG. So here's one post with Keanu Reeves looking very serious in the background. Karma said, when somebody is not right for you, God will continuously use them to hurt you until you're strong enough to let them go. Again, I don't really understand what this has to do with business or what Keanu Reeves is doing there, because he clearly didn't say that unless his name is suddenly Karma. Here's one with Leonardo DiCaprio in the background with his arms folded looking very serious as well. 6 career mistakes to avoid. Setting for less, I think this person means settling for less. Fear of networking, overworking, giving up learning, repeating mistakes, and missing deadlines. I always love these quotes about like disappearing and then coming back when you're successful. So picture of Elon Musk by a Tesla car. Nobody knew I was getting a new car until I pulled up on them. Nobody knew I got another job until they saw my work badge. Nobody knew I was moving until I got my keys. Moral of the story? Move in silence. And then I showed you this quote at the start, another fake Elon Musk quote. So moving on, the Billionaire Wolf Club, money, motivation, and success, daily motivation, save, invest, make money. So here's a picture of Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. I literally do not know why he's in this. No one cares until you're rich, famous, or dead. Comment yes for success. Never bend your head, always hold it high. Look the world straight in the eye, because no one cares until you're rich, famous, or dead. So the Cillian Murphy one is from this account as well. You know, I find that totally hilarious. So more deep, insightful quotes from the Billionaire Wolf Club. And also a lot of these meme pages have really bad typos, and I think they're probably written by people who don't speak English as a first language. The fact that an 18 years old can't take a $10,000 business loan but can take a $100,000 student loan tells you everything you need to know. So I'm going to focus now on a hustle culture influencer I just stumbled upon called Moise Baliga. Baliga owns an Instagram page, Income Parent, and he owns another one called Investing Executives. And he says he is making like tens of thousands of dollars a month through Instagram marketing. I just want to go back onto one of his pages, Investing Executives, and just talk about how ridiculous these memes are and just like how divorced from reality they are. So here's the first one I liked. You should build relationships with lawyers, tax advisors, accountants, sales consultants, marketing experts, graphic designer, fitness, mental health coaches. Contacts are the real money. Network your way to success. It's so easy. I'm just going to go make best friends with lawyers and tax advisors and accountants. It's so easy for everyone. If you don't have those guys as your friends, just go make friends with them. This stuff is so delusional. So 6-figure is only $274 a day. Wow, that's not much at all. Sell a $5 service 55 times. Sell a $10 product 28 times. Sell a $20 book 14 times. Sell a $100 service 3 times. Sell a $300 product once. 6 figures isn't as big as you think it is, break it down into small goals. Once you hit 6, you realize 7 isn't far either. Because that is all so easy. Selling a $5 service 55 times. How do I make these services? Can someone in the hustle culture tell me how I do this? Or is it just like really, really easy? I just like think of something and then there's a massive market for it. So I want to get back to this a bit later, but the 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. strategy, if you are currently working 9 to 5 and thinking you don't have time to start something on your own, look at what you're doing with the 7 hours between 7 p.m. and 2 a.m. This is the time you need to use if you want to achieve more in your life. Now, I actually kind of did this when I was working full time, but of course, many people go to bed at like 10 p.m. They're not up all night till 2 a.m. because a lot of people get up at 6 a.m. for work the next day. They're not working on side hustles after a mind-numbing day at work with a long-ass commute. Again, these guys do not live in the real world. But then in the next slide, it says your mental health is important. So which is it? Do you have to stay up to 2 a.m. every night working on your side hustle, or is your mental health important? There's also loads of bizarre stuff in this page. 11 ways to be mysterious. What has being mysterious got anything to do with being wealthy? So it says like, be calm, talk less, avoid drama, be less reactive, make eye contact, use correct body language, listen more than you speak, think outside the box, think before you speak, don't always be available, speak less about yourself. I don't understand how much of that contributes to you being mysterious. Like, making eye contact and using correct body language, isn't that just like normal things you do in a conversation? How to become interesting, travel far away, stop being lazy, go to a big concert. If you go to a big concert, you automatically become interesting. Face one of your fears, tell captivating stories, upgrade the way you look, become a spy, be an observer, share what you learn with others, take a class and learn something. I mean, some of that is relevant to becoming, I guess, more well-informed. Doesn't automatically make you an interesting person. Some of it is just like totally ridiculous. How does stop being lazy and going to a big concert make you interesting? Here's some fun things where it places your poverty on the individual. Why you will always be poor. You're not investing money in yourself. You think you know everything. You're wasting money on your bad habits. You think a job will make you rich. You only have one source of income. You don't earn any passive income. So the reason to everyone, if you live in poverty, that you're poor, is that you only have one source of income and you don't earn any passive income. Because as we all know, we all have 24 hours in a day. We can use that 24 hours however we wish. And if you aren't making passive income to raise yourself out of poverty, that is an individual problem and not the fault of the economic system we live in. Why the rich are rich? Not that like loads of rich people just inherit their wealth or own land. The rich are rich not because they look rich, but rather because they possess the skills and strategies of the rich. The rich invest their money first into assets instead of purchasing liabilities. The rich maximize their income by increasing either their salary from their job or the profit from their businesses. The rich build multiple income streams to diversify their income. I always love this stuff where it basically says that if you want to become rich, you also have to become a complete loser. The cost of ambition with an Elon Musk picture, late nights, early mornings, lots of associates, very few friends. You will be misunderstood. You will be single unless you're lucky to find someone who understands your lifestyle. People will want you to do good, but never better than them. For these reasons, you will do many things alone. So obviously I said they have another page called Income Parent, and they obviously have loads of ridiculous memes on this stuff as well. They tell you how to make passive income, sell on Amazon, rent out a room, create a gaming app. That's really easy. Start an ATM business, buy a vending machine, invest in royalty income, invest in dividend stocks, buy and hold growth stocks, invest in rental properties, automate a Shopify store, grow a YouTube channel, very, very easy. Start an influencer IG account, also easy. Promote products as an affiliate, create your own affiliate program, save more with high yield savings. Great idea. I'm going to try loads of them out and become very rich. Oh, also it tells me how to be a millionaire before 30. Save half of your income, invest in stocks, buy real estate, learn valuable skills, start a business, start a side hustle. If I do all those things, or even a couple of them, I will become a millionaire before I'm 30. But that stuff is completely ridiculous, but let's get back to Moise Baliga. Introduce myself, owner of Income Parent, as well as the other theme page brand on Instagram. I also took the route of society and completed a bachelor's degree in business management at a good university in London. Not that good of a university, we'll get back to that later. Although I learned a few good things about marketing, human resources, and specialised in accounting and finance, completed experience in entrepreneurship, I still didn't know how to make money. Nobody taught me how to get money. I studied for 7 years in London, top botch, I think he meant notch, university, but I only ended up 100k in debt, broke, and with a 9 to 5 job in a bank. Since I decided to invest in myself, learn through some coaching calls, mentorings, online courses, my life changed. My online business now generates 5 to 10k a month, and I don't need a job anymore. And what I have always wanted to do is help people and help them improve their financial situation. So the hilarious thing is, Moise posts all these things on his Instagram that look like his tweets from his verified account. You might notice it's weird that both names have the @ before it, so do it for people who want to see you fail. I don't know where I'll be in 6 months, but I know for sure I'll be fitter, richer, smarter, and better. The best thing is to boss up physically and mentally and financially. But if you type in his Twitter handle in Twitter, so how embarrassing is it that he has faked these tweets to post on his Instagram post and show that he is apparently verified on Twitter? So I checked out his LinkedIn. So he's the managing director at Digital Executives Limited. This is a real company. I looked at some financial filings. He used to work in Santander from August 2019 to May 2020. He used to work in Tesco for 2 years and 3 months. He went to Kingston University from 2018 to 2021. He said before he actually did university for 7 years. He didn't, and he said it's like a top-notch university. Kingston is a pretty like standard university. It's nothing special. It's not like renowned for its business school or anything like that. It's just like a pretty standard London university. It's not in the Russell Group. Most universities are pretty similar, but I probably wouldn't go around telling people I went to like one of the best universities. Not like you went to the London School of Economics or Oxbridge. He also studied BTEC level 3 in business management and got 2 Ds for his BTEC. For those of you who don't know, BTEC is kind of like a lower form of qualification than your standard A level. Again, not saying education is everything and making money, but this guy's education isn't really anything notable. But to be fair, Income Parent does have 1.6 million followers on TikTok and normally just posts like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk videos. So the thing with accounts like this, I obviously can't say if he actually makes a lot of money. On his Instagram, he's traveling around Dubai and everything like that. So maybe he is a successful businessman, you know, based on his education, which he said was amazing, which clearly was pretty average. It seems he's embellishing a lot of his life story, but again, I don't know that. Now, what a lot of these people do is say they are mentors to people. If you pay them a certain amount of money, they will help you build your own Instagram business. Now, I was watching videos of his testimony, and some of these testimonies seem quite legit. Although some of them, in my opinion, I do not know this for sure, this isn't a fact, some of them seem quite dubious because there's both a guy who shows up twice with a different name and a guy who clearly looks like he's reading off something. So take a look at these testimonies about how great a mentor Moise is.
Hi, I just want to give a quick review about my mentor Moise, owner of Income Parents. With a small investment, he helped me to choose the best niche on Instagram. He showed me how to create amazing content, how to grow fast the Instagram page, and amazing other things which is important to be successful on Instagram. He's a nice, honest guy who are always happy to help you and inspire you, motivate you until you achieve your goals, and you will take your business to the next level.
Hello, this is Business Falcon. I want to leave a review for my mentor, Moise of Income Parent. He has been fantastic. I'm not like most of his other students. I'm 40 years of age with a family. I have multiple streams of income, but Instagram, I was wanting to break Instagram and see what this automated monetizing Instagram thing was, and he has bailed it out. He has helped me along the way. He gives you his personal number. He's there morning, noon, and night for a chat for any issues you may have, and he helps create my page. He helps build the followers. He helps with the monetization. He's always there. It was the best money I've spent, and hopefully within the next year I'll be making a passive stream of income through this. So thank you very much, Moise. Really do appreciate it, mate.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Roy, aka Speed Income, and I am making this video to give a huge shout out to my mentor, Income Parent. And with his strategies, I was able to generate dollars within the first 24 hours of starting an Instagram theme page. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And so far, this is the best decision I've taken. And if anybody needs someone who needs to get started with a theme page and needs to get to those dollars. My name is Raz, giving a quick shout out to my mentor, Income Parent here. So before getting started with my page, I started some other pages in the same niche, but I couldn't get any results, couldn't make any money. But right after joining Income Parents Mentorship, I was able to generate over $1,000 with less than 500 followers, with just some small strategies that anybody can do. So if you guys have got a never giving up mindset and you ain't lazy and like you can put in 2 to 3 hours a day, this is something you should definitely go for.
So some glowing testimony there. The only problem is the first guy, like I said, kind of seems like he's just looking at something off camera, maybe a script, and there is no link to his successful Instagram page. And like you probably saw, I hope I'm not hearing things wrong, but that one guy is clearly the same person who describes himself as Roy, it sounds like, and then Raz. I know it's common in often Asian communities to like have a nickname, but Roy and Raz seem quite similar. Are you really going to be giving testimonies, one as Roy and then one as Raz? Again, I don't know for sure. It seems quite weird. And also, Raz and Roy also do not link their very successful Instagram account, which Moise helped them with. Now, at the end does actually link his Instagram account. So I looked at it, Business Falcon, business, income, and startups, 4.5 thousand followers. The only problem being his last post was on the 16th of April, 2021, and pretty much just posting the same stuff you've been seeing throughout the whole video. So again, I don't know if these people actually have successful Instagram pages. I don't know if Moise is actually a very, very successful businessman. He does have a relatively successful TikTok account and a relatively successful Instagram account. I don't know how Instagram marketing and ads work. I could assume that he actually makes decent enough money, but of course I'm quite skeptical about these mentorship programs when the testimony seems to be given by people who at the very least are not linking their very successful pages. So I find this whole thing toxic. Essentially, you have people who post Instagram posts of them like living the life and stupid memes and quotes about how you can become a millionaire by 30 if you do these simple steps. And I think the whole mindset from Molly May to Gary Vee is very, very toxic, in that it believes in capitalism being a meritocracy, that no matter your background or your environment, if you just work hard, go to school, blah, 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 you're going to have an equal chance at getting a nice slice of the pie. But in reality, there are so many factors that stop this: systemic bigotry against various groups of people, the environment you grew up in, the access to schools you have, who your parents are, what jobs they have, do you live in relative comfort like I said I did, or do you live in poverty where all the family need to work together to just afford the bare minimum? And of course, even people who live in relative security, you shouldn't feel bad that you're not hustling. Like, life is not about just making as much money as possible. Life is not about just monetizing everything to become super, super wealthy. If you work a job you like and can afford the necessities and maybe afford extra and you like that, why should you even want this? It's like this Ayn Rand individualism, being extremely selfish and just pursuing material wealth above all else. Now, I take issue with hustle culture a lot more because I've kind of lived it to an extent. So I said earlier in the video, and I want to talk about this, about my own experience like hustling and like making every minute of my life kind of count. So back in 2019, I started my full-time job. I was still doing YouTube and I was playing for a football team, and I, was working out and stuff like that. And I said, I am not going to let this job like rip away the things I like in my life, the things that I've been doing pretty easily until I've got this job. But in reality, you guys will know, jobs steal a lot of your time, but they also really beat you down. So for example, this is like a standard day for me, even without anything on top of it. So I would wake up about 6:30, I would get either the 6:50 or the 7:20 train. The problem with the 7:20 train, if it was a tiny bit late, I'd be late to work, so I often just got the 6:50 one. Work starts at 8:30, sit in the office until 5:30, get home at 7 p.m, really exhausted because you have a long commute on top of a 40-hour work week. And then the evening was mine, the 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So what I'd often do is try and release 2 YouTube videos a week. So I believe on a Monday, I had 5-a-side football, so sometimes I would go straight from the train station to football. I would play that, get back about 9 o'clock if we started at 7, but normally we'd start later. And then maybe I might record a YouTube video I'd been planning at work on my lunch break or something. And then on a night like that, I'd probably go to bed quite early. But on a Tuesday, I would do all that stuff. I would get home and either record a YouTube video or start editing the YouTube video I'd recorded the day before. I would also work out. So on a day like that, I'd end up going to bed about 1:30 a.m. or 2 a.m. and then I'd be waking up about 6:30 the next day. On a Wednesday, I would normally have football training or another game of five-a-side. So then I'd either be like planning a new video or something. And then on a Thursday, I would get home, work out, and do another video. Most nights of the week, I'm going to bed at 1:30 or 2 a.m. and I'm waking up at 6:30 a.m. I worked really, really hard to keep my YouTube alive while I was working 40-hour weeks, but I honestly would not recommend that to anyone. I would not recommend doing that because as someone who suffers from neurological health problems before I had a full-time job, it really, really exacerbated them because I did not sleep enough. And it exacerbated a lot of physical health problems because I was stressed from work, stressed from having all this busy life, and it just made everything a lot worse. And I had a massive hangover from all that stuff when I quit my job. Over the last year or so, I've finally gotten a lot better. But if you can avoid doing this, do not do this. And if I could go back in time, I don't know if I would change much because now this is my full-time job, but I probably would have structured it a bit differently so I got more sleep. So telling people to use the 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. every night when you're not working to pursue your side hustle, I think is really ridiculous logic because it just ignores all the problems that will come with your lack of sleep on top of having a very, very busy life. Also, like I said before, I was privileged because I was doing all this from my home. I was living with my parents. That means a lot of the responsibilities that you often have as an adult, I did not have them on top of all these things, so I could fit all this stuff in. So I was on the Sigma grind, I was on the hustle. I did that for a year, and let me tell you, really not good for your mental health, really not good for your physical health. If you already have some sort of health problems like I did, not good for them either. So putting the problems of the capitalist system on the individual and advising them to live a lifestyle like I kind of lived, I think is just totally ridiculous and ignores all the material conditions and different, societal conditions people live in. And it's just part of this hyper-capitalist mentality that has really been sweeping the West since Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, where everything is pinned on the individual. Now we live in a great society with the internet, like Gary Vee says. The internet is so you can scam loads of people easily now. So you should all be making the most of that opportunity. You should be trading stocks from your phone. You should be buying Bitcoin. You should be buying Gary Vee's CryptoPunks. And if you don't do that, you're a sucker. You're lazy. You work that 40-hour week in KFC or McDonald's and then have a big commute home and have to take care of children, take care of loads of just ordinary stuff. You don't have time for a side hustle to make you a millionaire by 30 years old, then that is a you problem. It's not capitalism's fault you live in this system and you do not have any time for yourself. It's your fault. And that's another big part. Capitalism just steals your time and it just ruins your ability and motivation to even have hobbies, because how easy is it and how much do you want to when you get home from a day of work to just chill, to just play video games or just watch Netflix and stuff? And that's totally fine. You have to decompress. But to these hustle culture bros, that's a sign of laziness, weakness. And it's also a sign that you deserve your poverty. And it's a big thing with these hustle culture influencers is that if you don't act like them, you deserve the poverty because that's your fault. And that's how many, many capitalists and conservatives think about the world. Sometimes you think better of people, they can at least recognize some problems, but so many people who rule our societies in the UK and the US, across the Western world, do essentially believe that if you are in poverty, you deserve it because it's your fault. It's about your choices and your lack of willpower, the lack of ability to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps and make something of yourself. Again, a myth sold to people so they tolerate this awful capitalist system that is destroying the planet. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of hustle culture. Have you tried to be a hustler? Have you ever taken this advice? Have you ever bought into this advice? Let me know in the comments. If you want to follow me on social media at the Kavernacle on Twitter and Instagram, come join our communities at Discord and my subreddit. And if you want to support my work, check out my Patreon. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.